You're listening to Truly Unruly with Marcus and Jessica Trufant. What's up, y'all? It's been a while, but we're back. It's Truly Unruly with Marcus and Jessica Trufant. I'm Kel. That's Marcus.
Hey.
That's Jessica.
What up?
Yeah, y'all, it's been a couple weeks since we've chat, man. A lot's transpired in the last, 3.5, 4 weeks.
Has it been that long? I don't know.
I feel like it. I had caught COVID.
School's back in session.
School's back in session for you guys and your kids. My kids been back in school. Let's see what else has happened. 1,000 bottles of baby oil have been found in certain people's houses.
A lot has transpired.
That was
a lot has happened.
Couple weeks. Yeah,
it was transferred from the house to the hotel, actually. So
was it?
How does one get 1,000 bottles of baby oil through the lobby?
Plan and dedication. Hey man, it's easy. That's easy work.
I'm just saying, just even the whatever. Go to hell.
Yeah, I hope they cook him. Anywho. We got an email that's been sitting in the inbox for a while. It's from a mom. And I thought this would be interesting. And you guys can give this lady advice since you have children, especially or particularly daughters. Mm-hmm. Her email is very long, but here is the short version. I kind of summed it up. She said that her 17-year-old daughter is dealing with her first breakup. And she's having a hard time trying to find a way to help her cope since I guess herself, the mom, she didn't grow up with her own mother. And she said, quote, I was never really good at picking men, so I don't want to lead her in the wrong direction. Marcus and Jessica, what advice would you give your daughters? Any good direction would help.
It's tough.
I remember my first breakup and being devastated. And I remember being in my mom's room and she was rubbing my hair and I was crying. And I do remember that. I vividly remember that. And I was so distraught, partly because I was already deeply invested in this dude.
Damn it.
In more ways than one.
The emphasis on deeply?
Yeah. Anyway, so I know what it feels like to just be completely crushed by somebody. And the woman not being raised, the mother not having a mother herself. I know this can be a particularly difficult type of situation to navigate, but just kind of being there for her, not smothering her or just avoiding it altogether. Just checking in, making sure she's okay. Telling her the things that you learned throughout dating and the choices. Talk about your experiences and the choices you made that were bad, I guess, maybe in relationships. And just kind of put it all out there for her and just see what happens in return and her response and just having a dialogue.
Right. I think from a dad's perspective, I guess, because that's the only perspective I would have to talk to my daughter. Or is it okay for a dad to step in that situation? You think that would be awkward, I guess, for one of our kids if she was going through a breakup? Of course, I think they would come to you first, but
you never know, though.
Right. But if they did, I would kind of go down the road of just trying to uplift, man, and letting them know that boys are silly and all this other stuff, especially at that age. And you're going through your first breakup. You're still going to be young, and just like you said, just kind of play it light. Don't be too smothery, or try not to blow it out of proportion, because it's already blew out of proportion as far as I'm concerned. And just try not to go too crazy with it. Give them some calm words and kind of just take it from there, right? And continue to build them up, because that's probably what
Right.
it is.
Yes. Continue to build them up.
Blaming themselves and
Because it's the end of the world.
what did I do? I
It's
could have
the
done
end
this better.
of the world
So,
when that kind of stuff happens.
And a young mind, that's what you can expect, right? So it's up to the parents to be adults about it, and don't go on like a man bashing thing, because a lot of women would probably do that too, and maybe even some guys,
Not
right?
bashing men, but
Well,
like you said, saying boys
talking shit
are
about the guy. So that's
silly and talking shit,
right.
and a lot of that stuff goes over their head anyway. They don't
You'd be
really.
surprised.
So, but still, they don't really fully grasp that kind of stuff yet, I don't think. And so, when you're like, oh, there's so many other boys, they'd be like, what?
I know.
Really?
They can't even see that far at the
Really?
moment.
I want my boyfriend,
Right.
that type of stuff. So, yeah, that is tough though.
There was one thing that that I was told, like, I remember like my very first breakup, and like my older sister was like, because I might have been like, I don't know, 13 at the time or something. And I wasn't like sad, but I just kind of felt bad about it because I liked the girl,
Mhm.
And she told me, she goes, if I told you you would feel better in a month, would you believe me? And I was like, no. She goes, give it 30 days. She's like, and you're not even going to be worried about that anymore. And it actually worked for me. I was like, well, damn,
That's
like
fair.
life goes on, I guess though it's different because I'm a guy, so like.
I don't even think it's a guy or a girl thing. I just think
Really?
it's maturity.
A young,
and
Yeah.
tender heart.
some
is,
people get it quicker
easily broke.
than others, and yeah.
Yeah,
I had
don't
a
be one of
defense
those dudes.
mechanism. I never really never let myself get invested in anything. So
I was
I
about to
wasn't
ask
able
you that,
to get my
Marcus.
heart broke. Yeah.
I was about to ask you, have you ever had your heart broken before, or were you just breaking hearts?
No, I wasn't
Yep.
breaking hearts like that either. No, I was not.
Yes.
No, I
yes.
wasn't.
Yes, he was.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about as a young man. I really
What do you
like.
mean as a young man? Like before me?
I'm talking about like in high school and stuff. That's what we're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about,
no,
like our teenage
I don't
years
know
and
if he
stuff
was
like
breaking
that.
hearts in high
no,
school, but
I wasn't doing it like that. I wasn't even on chicks like that. I was a late
he
bloomer.
was a late bloomer.
So yeah, man, I wasn't doing it like that. I was into my sports and my studies. So I was doing my thing. But yeah,
oh my
no,
God.
just
that is so nerdy.
my
That's so
defense was all that nothing matters, never get too far invested, and then you're safe, right? Terrible way to do it.
I was
But,
about to say, I was like,
yeah.
because it sounds like it's like, don't ever like try to
Extend
like
yourself.
connect with somebody or extend
Right,
yourself,
yep.
right?
That is
Exactly.
that is
because you're gonna lead the
protecting your-
failure.
Stay right in the middle.
And
right?
that's a defense mechanism.
It is.
That's
And I said
protecting
that.
your heart
Right.
by doing
That's what I
that.
said. Exactly what it did. And it worked,
Yeah.
but not a good option, kids, if you're listening out there. Feel free to love as you want to, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I know. Right.
Yeah, I just feel like with girls, it's just, oop, there goes my microphone. I just feel like with girls, it's just like so much different because like I think of like my own daughter, and I'm like, I mean, granted she's 5, but like when she gets to that age and like she's bawling and crying, and I'm like, go talk to your mom, or do I like, you know what I mean? Like as a dad, like, do you? I mean, because like you said, you don't want to bash guys, but at the same time, as a guy, I know that we have moments where we ain't shit. So
we have
it's
a lot of
like-
moments. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the teaching right there, right?
right?
Guys are silly and they ain't shit most of the time.
Right. And maybe it's not even to say guys aren't shit or to necessarily bash the dude. Like you said, build her up.
Right.
And, don't get into that pattern. Fuck that.
I don't need no man.
Right. You don't blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
which you don't. However, you don't want to create that kind of like wall in your child at a young age because don't put your trauma on them
Right.
because they might end up having a very difficult time being in a relationship or finding somebody. So be careful what you say to your kid in those moments.
And you know what I was thinking about, Kel? And, you know, we got our sons, right? And the times are changing. So a lot of what's
They're really soft.
portrayed out here as far as the women are getting pretty tough, right? So I think that we need to look after our boys too, because these girls is getting pretty slick out here. And they're not even really looking for gentlemen. They're not looking for the nice dude to do the right thing and to do the things the right way. So
Because we can do it ourselves now.
well, I'm not even talking about that, but how you're treated and how you portray yourself.
Because
right?
we can do it ourselves.
What do you mean? What
We
does
can
that
treat
mean?
ourselves. We don't need.
I'm saying how you treat, okay, I get it. But I'm saying as like the good guy or to be a good dude,
Mhm.
you don't want them to get taken advantage of because the girls is getting so slick nowadays. Is all I'm trying to say, Kale. So we need to be aware of that. I know we're worried about our daughters, but our boys need it too, man. It's
Oh, for sure.
crazy
Do you guys-
out here.
do you guys think
the city
too, though,
girl
like,
effect?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. That city girl thing. Because like,
What the hell is that?
there's a video. Well, what that's the city girl thing, Jess?
Mhm.
What
The
that
city girl
is-
effect?
Yeah, it's like finding it's women or girls that take that, like, it's a way of them taking their power back, I guess, in a way of like, you know how we've
yeah.
talked before about how like a girl like I'm a bad bitch, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just taking the power back in the word.
Yeah.
It's like that, but in the form of actions, if that makes sense.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So, but it's funny, I saw this clip on Instagram from this lady that was talking about like, you know, women that say like, you know, well, you know, I don't need a man, I'm a strong, independent woman, and how that backfires on a lot of women
Mhm.
because it's like they've been taught that from their moms, but it's like, yeah, you're strong and independent, but now you're strong and independent and lonely now for the rest of your life, and no man wants to deal with you.
Right.
And so like I feel like there's this like you said, Jess, this kind of like thin line you have to kind of walk because it's like, of course, like you want to raise a strong, smart daughter, but at the same time, like you still want her to be, I don't want to say use the word feminine, but like still like have that like kind of that caring, loving way to themselves, because I feel like not all, but a lot of these women that preach I'm strong, independent, they're very hard and they're hardened, you know? And so like when you try to get to that soft side of that woman, you have to almost like break down all these walls. And I don't know if that's like a protection thing to try to protect themselves and protect their emotions. But like it's like there's this really, really hard outer shell that you got to try to penetrate to like get to know the actual good person that's this person actually is.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see the shell being a defense mechanism because you know, men don't know what it's like to be a woman, and yeah, you kind of have to. We have become hardened because we're tired of getting fucking pushed over and pulling up the chair last to the table and shit, or being rejected altogether. We're tired of that. So yeah, it has. And even now, even more so, I think, with Kamala Harris running for president, that it's even more of a movement and a liberating time for women to be independent. And it's just a time for us to embrace all parts of ourselves and for us to be fully accepted within this patriarchal society, right? Okay, I just took it way.
No, I like it. That's true.
It is true.
Yeah. And that's where the movement is at. But kind of what I want to go back to and what I'm talking about, that's the positive side of the movement, right?
Right.
And I'm all for that. But the other side of it, and we kind of have joked about it in the past, but just women in general that think they're entitled to certain things just because they are them, especially when it comes to gifts and when it comes to monetary stuff, even going to dinner, what type of dates you should go on, all this type of energy.
Hell yeah. We have to fight for everything.
I'm going to teach my son that you're not a trick. If you don't like this girl, don't feel like you have to buy these women because you don't have to.
Well, that's something totally different.
I know, but that's the energy that I'm talking about, though.
Okay,
that's what women are, I guess, on the negative side of it. Of course, I'm all for the women empowerment side, but not the other side that is kind of walking around here and acting like men have to do this just to be worthy or just to be in the conversation. I don't agree.
That's because of everything we're saying, because you guys don't have to say anything. You guys just take full fucking advantage of people and sit your lazy fucking asses on their couches while these women are out working and taking care of them and all this kind of stuff.
Sometimes.
So that's why I have a rebuttal for everything, because there is a reason.
Yeah, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be weaponized. I think that's what Marcus is trying to say.
It's not even weaponized.
We've had to weaponize it. That's like that's why we're players. We have to be like this because we feel like we're just getting the shaft. Like you said,
I'm with that.
I don't want girls, taking advantage of my son. Well, I want to say niggas over and over and over again.
It's truly. Let it fly. Let it rip.
Let it fly. You're good.
Quick to be a fucking like a proud bum. So again, and it's not just niggas. It is dudes of all walks of life. But with my experience, no. But yeah, so
I call that equality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is. So
and
shut
you
up.
hold your man down, right?
Shut up then. Stop complaining. It is equality. We are now on an even playing field, and you motherfuckers don't like it. Or we're trying to get on an even playing field, and you motherfuckers don't like it. You guys do not like it. You guys cannot stand it.
That's not the standard.
You guys, men have a problem with strong women.
Because I don't want to...
Specifically strong black women.
No, I don't, Jess, I don't think we have a problem with strong women.
You did take it like...
Yes, you guys do. Yeah, you guys do. You guys have a problem with strong women. You guys have a specific problem with strong black women.
Because the women, because there's nothing wrong with a strong woman. What it is we don't like a strong, bitter woman. A strong, bitter woman is what puts the nasty taste in our mouth, because it doesn't have to be that way.
What makes a strong, bitter woman? I think if you're bitter, you're just bitter.
Right, but it's like when you're always consistently...
You're not strong and bitter.
But that's the thing, though. It's like...
bitter.
But like when you have some of these women that are constantly, consistently bashing men and then having to blame men for all of their shortcomings, it's like, wait a minute. There's a point where you guys got to take ownership to some of your own stuff, because I've said this on this show 1,000 times. Women are so mean to each other. You guys are so mean to each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and a lot of things that you guys do, you do it to impress each other and do it for self, not for us, because we're so simple. We don't even really fucking care.
I know, but I think we had this conversation before, and it started with men objectifying women and, cattle calling and doing this and pointing out their features, their physical features, this and that, putting them on the cover of all that kind of stuff on the magazine, looking this way. All these male owners and editors of these magazines, they're the ones that put these images. I'm not blaming men, right? Because women, you still have free will, self-control.
No, but that's true.
It is. And we start looking, and then we just kind of turned on each other, and it's unfortunate, but it is a thing, and we're like in competition. It's almost, that's how we compete for dudes. I'm gonna roll
it all the way back. This is why these conversations with these kids is so important, Kel, to go back to the original
I
question,
forgot what we were talking about.
Because all this stuff we talking about, all this shit we talking about, all the ratchet stuff. and then all this, as you know, the cattle calling and the shapes and the men saying all that kind of stuff. It's like, it's all kind of fake, and it's what the masses is, right? If you really know yourself and your parents are building up strong boys and women, and you get out here in the world and you kind of, it can move a little differently, right? And you don't have to move with exactly what everybody else is doing. Yeah, you want to be in the in crowd, you want to be cool, but you got a little bit different foundation and you're able to kind of move a little bit different.
Well, okay. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So what you're saying, Marcus, is what I'm getting from that is you have to teach your kids not to have this sheep mentality, because it's like the reason why a lot of people fall into this stuff, into the nonsense, is because you're trying to follow everybody else.
And it's popular,
like,
and that
don't be.
And
sheep.
I get it. Yeah, but
that's what we tell. That's what we tell our kids, or that's what we've been telling them recently. Don't be afraid to stand alone, to be alone. Don't be afraid to do it, because it teaches you more about yourself. You learn more about who you are, what you'll take, what you won't take, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, don't ever, you're not going to be alone forever, but don't be afraid to stand alone, to stand out.
Right.
To stand apart.
It's hard for kids, but as long as you are teaching those lessons, they will get back to that, of course, when their mind gets ready. Because it's hard to tell a kid, okay, everybody else is doing this, like in the elementary, middle school. I say even high school, right? It's hard to be on the outside looking in. You want to be...
As an adult.
Very true.
It's hard to be on the outside looking in. True. Everybody wants to feel included. Everybody wants to be a part of something. Nobody wants to be alone. And to the whole, independent thing, I think that's a problem, that we're so heavily put so much weight on being independent that everybody is completely disconnected. And no one person is just independent or doing everything on their own, or hasn't had a handout or a help or something like that. So it's fucked up out here.
Yeah, I mean, I say this time and time again. It goes back to what I remember what my mom told me when my parents got divorced and I was like 5 years old, and I still remember this core life memory. And she was like, "Son, don't ever feel like you need to have a significant other in your life to feel whole." She goes, because you are you, and you're gonna be you. You came into this world by yourself. You're gonna die by yourself. Like
that part.
That's what it is. So no, you're absolutely right, Jess, and you're right, because it's like, I feel like the independent thing, which it's obviously, do you, be yourself, be happy, and do what makes you happy. But like, I feel like the independent thing has been pushed so hard is that we've almost lost sense of community.
Yeah.
So it's like when you look at like other cultures outside of Western culture, where like most folks, they live together. Everyone lives under the same house. Everybody puts their money together in the same pot, and you don't move out until you get married, right? But usually it's the grandma, the auntie, the uncle, the grandpa, the mom and dad. They all live under one roof, right? And then you look over here in like Western culture, where the United States is such a young country that like it's like
so
when I'm 18.
Greedy.
When it's about me. And when I'm 18, I got to move out and have my house and my place and my car. And
because that's what everybody's value is in.
Right.
It really is. It's placed
through
in
the
that.
Masses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
I'm 18. I live by myself. I have a car. Are you happy?
Right.
Are you struggling? Because goddamn. So yeah.
Yeah. It's like collective culture versus this independent culture.
Yep, individualism.
Individualism or whatever. Individualism. Individualism. And like, I think where it went wrong here in the United States is when we started calling the age group from 13 to 19 teenagers. the teen age, because I saw this documentary years ago that was like the teenage, they didn't really start using that until like the 50s, or it might have been like the 40s or 50s. And so it's like, and so what it's done, it's almost like it dumbs people down for this, like this age period, because it's like, well, you're an adult, but you're not an adult.
Right.
Right. So it's like, you're old enough, but you're not old enough. So it's like, that's why you still got grown men living with their moms, because they never grew out of the teenage of being a teenager, you know? And I think that's
back
kind
in the
of
day, kids was working in the fields and stuff at like 8.
Yeah.
Kids
right?
wasn't
getting busy.
kids was they
Full-time
were
job.
Yeah, they were workers. They were born as workers. They didn't live very long.
There was people getting married hella early too, right? Or
you were getting married hella early. Like, I know I've said this like way back in. You could kill your kid.
Yeah.
Really?
Step out of line.
If you disrespected your parent, they could kill you.
Really? Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yes, it was a thing.
Wow.
I mean,
what was
you
the
could
going
beat your
rate on the
wife.
weapons? Like,
You could legally beat your wife
That's
up
true.
until not that long ago.
club, a stick, a hand.
What?
Yeah.
What were people usually using to kill their kids? I wonder. Like, what type of
I don't know, but I know there was a lot of killing of
stoning them to
kids.
death?
They didn't have rights. They didn't have values. They was getting. It wasn't until like the 20th century that they started having actual rules and rights, and you can't abuse them, and you can't sexually abuse them, and you can't do this, because before that was it was no holds bar. It was anything goes. So
and I think what's wild about that is you look at other cultures that all have like a rite of passage, right? So like if you look in like the Mexican community, you have quinceañeras. In the Filipino community, you have like debutantes. And then like in the Jewish community, Israeli community, you have like bar mitzvah and bat mitzvahs, where it's like you turn 15 or 16 or whatever the age is, and you're considered a man or you're considered a woman, you know? And we just don't have that in Western culture. So you just have it like lulls, you know? But at the same time, like you guys said, like a lot of people were dying very young. You look at some of the people that were running the world, you have to remember, like, you were considered an elder when you were like in your late 30s, right? So like when I look back at like,
the life expectancy keeps.
Yeah. So you look back at like ancient times, you're like, wow, like, okay, when Cleopatra was seducing Mark Antony, she was probably like 17.
Yeah, she was.
Right.
She was.
Really? Damn.
Remember, she was a kid.
Right.
She was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like these were like young people, like Alexander the Great, and like all these people, like they were young, like they were teenagers, like running the world and
they were married
conquering
to
the world.
each other. And
you know,
yep.
So it's strange, but to wrap up though, for this lady's, you know, for her daughter, like, what do you guys think she should, you know, what's the best way she should reach her daughter to walk away from this and not feel like it's the end of her world? Support.
And like we said, build her up. You are down right now. Have those feelings, get all of that out, and pick yourself back up, because you are worthy. You are worthy of a nice young man that treats you right. Like we said at a show previously, you might have dodged a bullet with this boyfriend, even though they're young. But just uplifting her. Yep.
Uplifting her is going to build her up, not for this situation, but for situations to come. And definitely, my advice would be to be careful about letting him back in if he tries to come.
Oh,
back and talk to you, because these is what boys do, and I would kind of flip it around.
Or you tell him, and sometimes girls, depending upon how far they've gone with this kid, the boy might come back over and over again, and you tell her, you want to try that again? It's on you.
Remember how you feel.
Right. Remember how you feel right now. Remember what he's shown you. And if he does it again, remember what I told you. So
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But no, you guys are right though too. Like what you said, Jess, about real quick about showing emotion, because I think that's another thing that in society that we've had a really hard time doing is like, you know, it's like, don't cry, don't worry about it, like get over it, it's gonna be okay. And it's like, no, like go through the emotions, like feel this, know what this feels like, because it sucks and you don't want to feel like this again. You know, express your emotion. It's okay to cry. It's okay. What is it? Is it the 7 steps of grief, or what is it? The 10 steps of grief,
something like that,
or whatever it's called.
I think there's only a few.
Or 5 steps of grief,
At
or whatever.
5, I think it's 5.
Is it 5? Yeah, it's like go through that, feel that, you know, so you know what these feelings feel like, and so like if it happens again, it's like, oh, I know what that feeling is. Like I know how to address this.
Right, I know. I'm going to get through it. I can move through it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Good episode. I like it. Truly Unruly, y'all. Marcus and Jessica Trufant. My name is Kel. Follow us on all things social at trulyunruly_podcast. If you want us to answer your question, you can email us at trulyunrulypodcast@gmail.com. Of course, like, follow, subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform. You can catch the visual on YouTube by just searching Truly Unruly. And of course, catch us every Sunday on Converge. Boom. All right. Till next time, y'all. Peace and much love.
Hey.